So I was invited to go on the Imp and Skizz podcast, which for me was an absolute honour as a fan of their show. And of course I wanted to let all of you know that it was out there. So we put together these clips to entice you to go and check it out. If it interests you, the episode is linked in the description box down below. And of course I would encourage you to subscribe to their amazing podcast.
How did they get started? Like, what got you into this world of being a Minecraft YouTuber? You know, what made you hit record on your first video and publish it on YouTube?
Yeah, and when did you start to see that this had a promising future and it could be an actual reality?
I think it starts a fair bit before just, you know, hey, why did I make that first video? I think it all stems from being at a low point in life and kind of having this thought one day that, like, it felt so low that the only way was up. And I started to change my attitude towards a lot of things in my life. And I felt like I needed to make something of myself somewhere. And having such a deep passion for music, I decided, I got to stop picking up the guitar and messing around on it. Like, why don't I take this seriously? Because I used to write songs, right? Just hanging out with my friends and stuff. And I wanted to take that seriously. So I developed this pattern of, putting time into it and working towards something and making these songs become a reality, learning how to mix, learning how to record. And that shift in mindset, when I found the game Minecraft and I saw people were creating content with it online, it sort of gave me the idea that I could do this too, because I just learned how to apply myself to something. Whereas before doing any of that, I'd never applied myself to anything really before.
All right, so X, I want to ask you a question. I love asking Minecrafters this question. I love it. And it's not a put you on the spot thing, but you might take a second or two to think about the answer. But I always ask anybody who has really leaned into Minecraft over some portion of their life. I asked them, what was your aha moment?
I got the game, right? My mate went, I think you'd like this game called Minecraft. Oh, all right. Went to the Pirate Bay because I had no money back then and got a copy of it. And I think it only took me a few days where I was like, this is amazing, I'm buying it. But I think it must have been like one of my literal first times playing it, that the night started to come around and I got killed by a zombie. I didn't even see it. And it was just such a weird experience. It's like, oh, I'm dead now. Anyway, start again. This time though, I'm gonna dig into a wall and survive the night by hiding. And so I dig into a wall and I dig out like a square room like you would. And then I was like, I'll make an upstairs. And I dug a little staircase and then I put an upstairs on it. And then I dug a little window in the side. And that was my Eureka moment. That was when I was like, I love this game. This is brilliant. This is genius. And it literally was no decoration. It was just stone and dirt, 2 rooms in the side of like a hill. And I was hooked from that point on.
And take a look at the history of Hermitcraft. There was a time where its founder, Generic B, had decided to basically leave Hermitcraft to go to Minecraft. And basically, if you had not kind of stepped in and picked it up, it could have died, right? And so in that way, you were kind of thrust into a leadership. I hate using that word because I know that's not exactly what you wanted it to be. What you wanted to be called? Stewardship. Yeah. So you were kind of thrust into this and had to take the reins basically in order to make sure Hermitcraft could stay a thing. Tell us about what that did for you, like from a stress level and from a learning level.
Yeah, that was really uncomfortable because, again, I'll keep mentioning how much all of this sort of ties in with growth as a person, but who I was back then, the idea of leading a group of people was something I did not want to do at all. Like, it just wasn't me, right? Like, I didn't think of myself as a leader, but here I was a part of Hermitcraft. I was so stoked and enthusiastic to have joined that in the beginning, and I had such an amazing time across that first season.
I don't know if you remember, X, but we had a meeting that happened right after basically everybody's lockdowns were happening, right? And we kind of started talking as a group about what that meant to our viewers. We decided as a group that we wanted to make as much content together and and show a happy vibe to our audience. And I remember you being very passionate in those conversations and just the way that you cared about your audience and their mental well-being was something that I'll never forget. That was my first Xisuma is a genuinely great human being, kind of aha moment. Do you ever have paranoia when you're like out and about, maybe doing some grocery shopping or whatever, that somebody's going to hear you talking to a cashier or something and be like, you sound like this YouTuber Xisuma guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have you ever get a little nervous that's going to happen, or has it happened?
Because one thing that he has that I don't have now, and I'll never get, and Impulse will never get, is that he's timeless. He's absolutely timeless. When you don't show your face ever, you become timeless. I'm not going to ask you how old you are. I don't care. But he could literally be 18 to 60. I wouldn't know the difference. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah.
18 forever.
You got it.
Yeah.
You started very
Started young.
I mean, my gray hairs are 18.
So you've made it to the end of these clips, which probably means you're going to want to check out the full episode. It's linked in the description box down below. And when you go over there, don't forget to subscribe to the Imp and Skizz podcast. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.